anybody in front of anybody, but in the whole term of that piece, what you're looking at, not Olympic rings, that's what it's called. But if you look at it in a circular manner, it look like a universe that I did with one bicycle rim or a drum rim. See that drum rim?
Yeah.
That's a drum rim and all kind of.
And did you make this in Alabama?
I made that in Alabama.
And where did you?
That was put on exhibit for the 1996 Olympic Games here, and because of the way that we was being treated then, I called it.
How were you being treated?
It was like we was being treated like we didn't fit. We didn't, because they had 5 rings, and that was very, very. They said it was very, very expensive to put those 5 rings on exhibit. Where I had questioned myself. And I also question the spirit within me. Why? And I'm telling Bill, William Arnett, the guy that actually wrote these books.
Matt's dad.
Yeah, I say I don't fit into these categories.
What are the categories?
The category was pretty and slick and
Commercial.
Painted. It was, everything was slick, pretty, and painted.
Designed to please.
Where those rings right there, if you give them a good shot of those rings, none of those rings was pretty.
I'm sorry, Lonnie, can you repeat that? I was blocking the mic.
I said, those rings, what you're looking at right there, none of them is shiny and pretty. None of them is made out of silver or gold. None of them is casted for any bronze purpose. So I question the spirit. How can I create something that's going to go up against 5 Olympic rings? So that piece, when I created it, I called it, the title of it is Not Olympic Rings, because I bent the piece of metal there, and I also found every one of those rings, and that was showing me these things are in the shape of a ring. So it's important for me to show thousands of people that was coming to America, that would come into these games and come into that art and see it, that I was thinking beyond this for the education purpose. I think that right there would teach so many children how to look at smaller things that their brain do not even connect with, and see that that's a ring form. You see what I'm saying? Not just the rings on my hand, or not just the rings on my arm, but you see that big old radio, a TV dial that's on there?
Is that a TV dial?
Yeah, look at it. It's like what the name of. It got a name on it.
Zenith?
Yeah. That's a big
Zenith is an interesting word. Do you know what Zenith means?
No, that's a radio dial, isn't it?
I know, yeah, it's a brand of radio, but
That's
I think a zenith is sort of a peak, if I'm not, but I could be wrong. I think it means like the zenith of an age.
This right here came off of a lawnmower. I remember when I got it. This right here was a little thing that you play. You put it on your arm and you spin it, and some gases in there off of your muffle off your muffle pipe. Here's a whole lot of different things in that piece.
And these are just weights attached by sort of ribbon.
Spring, you got to break all these things that went on bolts and nuts and things. So it actually.
The zenith, Lonnie, the zenith is the time at which something is most powerful. Orchid Light says.
Somebody said that.
Yes, so that's kind of a new meaning in your work. And the fact that zenith is written there is
maybe
the time at which
maybe my life.
Your art was most
maybe my life is important to the
powerful.
Time. My life may be important to the time, whether people appreciate me or not.
Well, people appreciate you. I love.
Maybe after my death,
Lonnie, I don't think you have to worry about your being appreciated. I can assure you, you are my favorite artist of all time.
That piece. Right
Climbing
there,
for Power, or
Climbing for Power. It's out at the Deerhunter Museum right now.
Which museum?
The Deerhunter out in San Francisco, California.
The Deerhunter in San Francisco, California. Yeah. What is that museum?
Climbing for Higher Power is about jealousy and animosity and hatred. Somebody can see you going up the ladder, and you going up the ladder to do good. Hold back. Turn it back where you can show it to them. See, this here material, I found it down by a railroad track.
All right, tell
And
us
then I
about tell us about the components in this one.
This right here,
Yeah.
when you walk down the railroad track, there was a telegram post that had the telegram wires on it. This ladder here, when I found it, that was an old painter's ladder. And what he had did, you can see how he had worked the steps off of it. And so when I got that, I asked him, could I have it? And he said, yes.
So he worked so hard that the steps
where you step on it, they got kind of
worn away,
broke away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that showed it had been climbed a lot of time. So when I got that, I thought about that. I said, now jealousy, a person don't know that jealousy is like
jealousy is like a ghost.
Jealousy is like a ghost.
And how
it shows itself. I mean, you never see it.
it's transit.
It's almost like it's on you, all around you, and it must be the same thing. People get so they get so inside they never tell you.
Okay, so you were saying,
like
I'm sorry, you were saying jealousy is like a ghost.
And on animosity and hatred. Because sometimes people never reveal that, but they got it going on inside. And then when they do, it's like they keep on cutting the ladder off every time you put a little bit more ladder to get up. Even if I was trying to get to heaven, and I know that I would have to go so deep within the universe to get to heaven, if there are a heaven. But if there's a spiritual place out there, I think I'll get there.
You might already be there.
I think I'll probably get there.
But you might already be there.
I got more work to do here.
Well, you might.
I mean, the earth you know what I did? I did
but
a song called I woke up in a fucked up America. I woke up in a fucked up world.
In a fucked up America.
I woke up in a fucked up world. Because if we do not learn to appreciate the values of the education that we have, if we do not learn to appreciate the digital time that we're in, time is not waiting on us. The digitalization, globalization is not going to wait on us. And every time, and I don't know how many people would say amen to this, but every time you miss 30 minutes on a computer, you're fried. Sometimes the computer don't even give you 30 minutes. If you go 6 months, but you miss 30 minutes, it's almost like you being absent for your class. You understand? It's gonna just mark you absent. I call it cold titty mama, computer technology management. Cold titty mama.
Cold titty mama.
Yeah, computer technology management.
Computer technology management.
Yeah.
Cold titty mama.
Yeah.
And you think that this has created a hostile environment for us?
Yeah, because if you didn't plug that up, we would have lost this audience. We wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, we had to plug in the phone in order to.
You understand what I'm saying? But people don't want us to be just communicating like that. They would prefer that they pick us to come to their radio show or their talk show, where you and I not only is going to take the time to show them with some glue how to clean their music. We're not only telling them how to put their guitars out in the weather where they can tighten up a little bit. You're telling them some of your inmost secrets. You don't even have to do that. But you're not charging them to do this. It's certain parts of the attitude of just living now is all about money.
Yeah. I think people are commercializing their lives, especially on things like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, where you see things like I'm not going to, name the names of celebrities because I don't even remember them. But
I don't put no celebrities on.
But there's like celebrities I don't know
They
their
know
names.
who they are.
But well,
I mean, they know who they are.
but
So
they,
if they
everything
hear
is
the truth, they gotta
branded.
know
So
the truth.
everything that they put on Instagram is for a commercial cause. It's for to advertise a product, and we're not advertising any
I'm
products.
saying the whole
I mean,
thing is,
this art isn't.
I like certain.
This art isn't for sale.
I like certain people's, and I like certain people's works that they have already did for Mother Earth. It was a group back in the day. What was We Are the World, and another group came on, Hands Across America. Those were some of the greater collaborative groups. They got together to collaborate. And then they left the stage and they went on about their business to do what they did. And then some of those.
Wow, it says that I have 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining.
Okay, so with that 1 minute and 37 seconds, I hope that we can do something together.
Okay, well, I want to ask you about one more piece.
Okay, please do. That one there, yeah. Blood on the Rock Pile. 1 minute and 37 seconds. That's when I was in a place called Alabama Industrial School for Negro Children.
Tell us again, all right, where were you?
I was in Alabama Industrial School for Negro Children. And they had beat me half to death and they put me on this rock pile.
Why did they beat you?
They beat me because I had ran away from there. It was a kind of more slave camp for children.
A slave camp? What year was this?
It was 1960 when I was just turning.
Was this a sort of a situation in which they created?
It was. They kind of were
They created a slave camp
in Birmingham at the time.
Was it?
And it was a lot of the
segregation.
Yeah, all of that was on the uprise at the time. And they didn't want. We had curfew, and I didn't know nothing about the curfew because I lived in a whiskey house. So I was trying to find my.
You
mom.
lived in a whiskey house.
Yeah, I was raised in a whiskey house from 5.
Like a roadhouse.
It's more like a whorehouse.
A whorehouse.
Sleepy Easy or whatever.
Did they have music?
Music, yeah. Rock cola, jukebox. As one would say.
But would people play there? Like